Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm painting berries, blackberries in particular, and their blossom. I hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And thank you very much for watching. Here's my usual palette of titanium white, cad yellow light, raw sienna, raw umber, French ultramarine blue, sap green, and alizarin crimson. And sometimes I'll add another color, but that's always my basic set. I've got a tiny 5x5 canvas today, and I'm just going to do a quick little sketch of berries, blackberries in particular. I'm opening my window to get a little bit more light on the subject. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. So, I love blackberries, and as a child, I remember some of my best days were picking blackberries with the family. I think it was September. We used to go blackberrying, and my mum used to make jam. And what fascinated me was she would take I'm using raw sienna to just sketch out where everything is going to be. Anyway, she would make jam, and the first thing she would do was put all the berries, I think we're going to have leaves here, all the berries in salt water. She'd cover them, put them in a bowl and cover them with water and add salt to it. And you wouldn't believe the number of wiggly things that come out of wild blackberries. I don't say nursery grown blackberries, that's a whole different thing. But wild grown blackberries have a lot of little wriggly creatures. I'm thinking I should put some kind of background in. Okay, so I'm going to mix sap green with some cad yellow light and maybe a little raw sienna just to bring it down. And I'm going to use a flat, and I'm just going to sort of do a quick wash of green. We're going to pretend that these berries are in the middle of a big berry patch, and it's a green shrub, isn't it? Sort of, we'll say it's a sunny day, so the greenery is very sunny looking. Just to get a background, and of course I've lost my original line, but I can still see it there a little bit, enough to go on with. There, but I've got paint covering the canvas. It's a little thin in places. Put a little darker colour around the base. And going to use a makeup brush just to swirl that around a little bit and soften it. Okay, there's a hair on there. I have 2 cats and a dog. There's always a hair in my painting. So we'll say, here, we'll do this again. Something like that. And we'll put berries on there, and we'll put some flowers and some little opening buds and leaves. I've mixed up sap green, French ultramarine blue with a little cadmium yellow light in there, and I think I'm going to put in some leaves, just a quick suggestion of leaves. I'll work on them more fancily later. I'll put lights and darks on those as we go along. I've mixed alizarin crimson with French ultramarine blue, and it's given me a lovely dark, luscious purple colour. And I'm going to put some berries in now. And I wanted to show you this. I've got a brush, and the ends of the brush, the end of this brush is very, I don't know if you can see that, very flat. By comparison, the end of this brush is rounded. See that? And this one is flat on the end. And I'm going to use the flat one to make my berries. Now you could use a Q-tip, but I find they get a bit fuzzy. I've done many berries with Q-tips, but I do find they get rather on the fuzzy side. So I'm just using this. Is that another hair? Might be, I'm not sure. Okay, so here we go. I dip the end of my brush in my paint, and I'm going to say that these berries have 7 or 9 little lobes. I think my paint needs to be it needs to be thicker, so I'm going to mix that a little more carefully. It was too runny. Okay, let's see how that goes. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, so you need fairly thick paint, but see how it, oh, that one's too much. I think that looks very berry-like. Bit too much paint on that one. We'll take it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, some of them can be sparse, or you could get really lush. Say put 9. Or you can go with even numbers if you like. I just like to do everything with odd numbers. Put some more over here. I'm going to do some that are almost completely alizarin, because that's really not quite red enough, so I'm going to lighten that a little bit. When you look at berries, you know, some parts of them are ripe and some parts are getting to be ripe, and some, when you look at them, have just straight green on them where they're not ripe at all. So we'll put in some of that to mix it up a little bit. You have to wipe the end of your whatever you're using. If you're using a Q-tip, you can use a fresh Q-tip, but I think I'm going to put a red one in here too. Just a few. I like to vary the colours. Okay. Let's put some over here. I hope you can see what I'm doing and I'm not just looking at the back of my hand. You can go over them if you feel they haven't got enough paint on them. I think that's good for berries. Maybe we'll put one down here. I've mixed a very pale pink. It's alizarin crimson and titanium white basically, but it may have a hint of that blue in, the ultramarine blue, which had turned it a little mauve. So I'm going to put in my the Blackberry Blossom, which has 5 petals. So I'm using an old bristle filbert. I'm not sure how well this will work, but we'll try this out. So 5 petals. Not too bad. And I'll make some of them whiter. Sometimes you only see a sort of little side swipe of petal. Okay, so I'm going to put in a little green center. To most of them. I'm using raw sienna and my tiniest brush. I hope you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to put in all these little tiny, like, stamens. Just sort of dabbing them in. Just straight raw sienna. Not doing a very good job of it. Just a suggestion. And while I'm at it, I'm going to say that we have some berries that have already gone. I'm using raw umber and raw sienna just to dot around these here and there. These berries have already fallen off. And I'm going to rinse out the same brush and I'm going to put in some other dots using raw sienna and a little sap green. And these are the flower, maybe put in some titanium white. These are the flower buds that haven't quite opened yet. A bit more white. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so we basically got it on there. Now I just need to strengthen up stems and put lights and darks on the leaves and maybe doody up the berries a little bit, and maybe some of the petals could do with more light on them as well. So that's what I'll be doing from here on. I'm going to use straight titanium white and just to emphasize these petals, some of them a little bit. I might be doing this at the wrong point. I think I should do the leaves first. I'm going to put some light on the leaves, a few of them. I've mixed sap green, titanium white, and there's a little bit of yellow in there. I think that's enough. And I'm going to put a little alizarin crimson on this stem. I'm going to darken up some of the leaves by mixing French ultramarine blue with sap green with a touch of raw umber in there. Whoops, that's a little bit too much, but that's okay, we'll fix that. Just to give a little emphasis. Make them a little bit stronger. I'm going to use that same colour and whoops, that's too much water. Just going to blot that. Going to use that greeny brown colour and put a little stem on there. Some little dotty bits. More brown. Oh, sorry, that's my cat. So I had to fix my cat. She has white fur and I managed to get alizarin crimson on there, and that's quite poisonous, so took a little break there to clean her up. And I'm putting in some straight titanium white just to get more light on some of these petals. I think that's probably enough. And I think I could even darken this up just a tiny touch. I'm going to also lighten these little buds. Okay, I'm going to just dot in some slightly darker areas. On my berries, using ultramarine blue. Just to firm them up a little bit. I think that makes them look a little bit better. And I'm also going to put some straight titanium white, little dabs of light, just here and there. I think I might add some alizarin, some raw amber mixed with raw sienna, and just sort of do a little daub in the heart. That's too wet again. Put in some veins, just using raw sienna. It's not a bad little sketch.